everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. We will be talking about Esmod Paris, about our admissions, our academic programs, a little bit about our alums, and a few other fun facts about it. Okay, so today, myself, Janine Fugel, I'm a part of the admissions team for Esmod Paris, along with my colleague Bumpa.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Dumpa, and I'm working at the school for the fashion business side. And my role is to help and guide students for their researches for the internships and to do the relationships with the companies in the fashion industry.
So we are here with you today to talk about Esmod. And I just wanted to introduce you also to a few of my colleagues in the Office of Admissions who are not with us today, but that may play an important role in your application process. Most especially for all of you, your contact would be Paulina Mena, who is the admissions representative for international applicants. So she, you can contact her directly. Her email is right there on the screen, pauline.mena@esmed.com. Feel free to email her with any questions about your applications, or while you're doing your application, she'll be your point of contact. So just a quick summary of the presentation we'll be doing today. We are going to present the Esmod group to you. We are going to show you the 2 campuses that we have in Paris. We're going to give you reasons why you should choose Esmod. We'll present a little bit about all of our academic programs on the fashion design and the fashion business side. And finally, we'll explain how to apply, and then we'll answer any questions that you may have. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about the Esmod International Group. Something you may not know about Esmod, we are incredibly proud to be the first fashion design school in the world. We were founded in 1841 by our master tailor founder, Alexis Levine. So we have a wonderful, very rich history, which makes Esmod very unique, not only in France, but around the world. Since we do have over about 19 schools in 13 different countries. As you can see from the list here, we are a network of schools all around the world. We also have, as Bumpa mentioned, a fashion business school, which is the first school that was dedicated to fashion business that was founded over 30 years ago. We have Esmod editions, so all of the textbooks, all of the academic resources that you have come directly from Esmod. And again, that stems from our rich history from Alexis Levine, our founder. All of his theories, we still use them today. We still use many of his inventions today. Such as the tape measure. So we still use his theories, and we put those into our textbooks or ebooks with Esmod editions. And finally, we have Esmod Pro. And that's for people that are already in the fashion industry, that are looking for a little update on their education, that are looking for to learn new softwares that are just coming out, things like that. All of that, we have programs that Esmod Pro offers to them. So now a little bit about our 2 Paris campuses. We have our first campus in Paris in the 9th arrondissement, which if any of you have been to Paris, it's not far from the Opera or the department stores, Galeries Lafayette and Printemps. And this is our fashion design building. It's a beautiful building, as you can see here in the middle. And then we have our second campus at Paris Pontin, which is a very cool new up-and-coming neighborhood. It's been named the Brooklyn of Paris, and there are many fashion companies now that have their home base there. So do we, as we have our fashion business campus there in the old bank building, another beautiful historic building that you'll get to enjoy when you come as a student of either Esmod Fashion Design or Fashion Business. So Bumpa, I turn it over to you.
So why choose Esmod? Firstly, for the wealth of knowledge cultivated since spans every aspect of the fashion industry. So Esmod International Group has developed a high level of teaching method in 2 major training streams, fashion design and business. We will see later on each the details of each program, and covering all issues specific to the sectors. For almost 140 years experience, since Esmod is going to celebrate its anniversary of 180 years next year in 2021. So because trends come and go, because fashion consumed differently today with the globalization, the social network, the concern of environment, the individual nowadays is a driver is more than ever a driver for renewal and innovation. And Esmod try to understand and anticipate it. And that is why we try to give the student a head of start for the future of fashion. So I would say that creativity, creation, technical competencies, know-how, innovation are the words which define our school. Secondly, for the recognition of our academic programs, Esmod proposes two levels of programs, undergraduate and postgraduate programs, open to different profiles and levels. Our students prepare state accredited diplomas and can apply from what we call in France bac from bac to bac plus 3, meaning A level from A level to A level plus 3 years in higher education. The recognition of our programs is of course an added value for the fashion industry, as our graduates are able to cover all professions, to the design and creation professions, to communication and marketing professions in fashion, luxury, textiles, lifestyles sectors. And of course, for a unique and expansive global reach, 20 schools in 13 countries, 5 schools in France. The cultural diversity within the group is huge. The Esmod make up a unique creative and Korean work, expanding Esmod know-how worldwide using patented teaching methods. And thanks to the program created in France and adapted to all our schools within the network, Esmod students are able to benefit from a system of inter-schools exchanges, meaning that each school has, that the students can do a few weeks or a whole years in our different campuses across the world. But each school has its own district identity, marked by the culture and know-how of the country in which it is based. Also, because the teachers are trained by Esmod Paris, the courses are available in French or in English. In Paris, you will have the choice to follow the courses either in French or in English. And both schools in design and business welcome over 70 different nationalities each year. Also, our educational team is selected with a majority of professors actively involved in the fashion industry. Therefore, they can offer to our students educations that stays really as close as possible to the realities of the market. And the fourth reasons would be for our active career development and prestigious partnerships. Actually, my role is to develop these partnerships because employability is our main goal through our education course and program. That way, for the students, the school proposes regularly different events to give the students all the element key to a successful work experience and professional integration. So in terms of events, we try to organize conferences, roundtables, fashion talks, tours in a company with our partners such as Balmain, Hermès, or the LVMH group, but also Le Slip Français, Vera, or Inditex group, or H&M, in order the students to perfect their knowledges in the fashion sector. But also these different events deal with current subjects such as trends, sociology, digital marketing, innovation, sustainability, and why not, how fashion evolves in the era of COVID-19. The possibility to attend or to participate actively in fashion fairs and fashion weeks are also opportunities for students because you need to be informed of the latest trends in fashion and textiles. So Esmod students have access to the main trade shows, professional trade shows, such as, if some of you know them, like Who's Next, Tranoy, Première Vision, Texworld, or to work as dressers for the fashion week, during the fashion weeks in Paris. In addition to support to your professional success, Esmod organizes also recruitment sessions with their partner. Depending on the profiles of the students and the needs of the companies, we try to organize twice a year speed recruitment with our partners and our students. And last but not least, Esmod provide guidance across workshops or one-on-one meeting along your studies with a recruitment specialist in fashion and luxury industry. These ones aim to build or guide you in your career development.
Thanks, Boompa. So now we're going to talk a little bit about our academic programs and break down the curriculum with you a little bit. So the very first program I will talk about is the foundation course. This is, of course, on the fashion design side. This course is a 5-month prep course that you can take before integrating into the first year, whether that be the first year in the master's program or the first year in the undergraduate program. You can do either. This program runs from February to June, and the only requirement really is that you have to be 17 years or older. With this program, you'll get to learn about fashion and art history. You'll get to discover Parisian culture and discover Paris itself. And there's also an optional French language course. So this is a great way to sort of beef up your knowledge of fashion and art history, and of Paris, of course, of French culture and French fashion before you integrate into our programs to give you a little bit of an edge to make you feel more confident in your own knowledge and your own skills. So next we have our fashion designer undergraduate program. This is a 3-year program that is accessible to anyone after they receive a high school diploma or A-levels, whatever the equivalent is in your school. And as Boompa mentioned, we have all of our degrees are accredited. So this is a level 6 accreditation in France, but it is also because of the ECTS credit system recognized in Europe as well. And the 2 core aspects of the curriculum are the design and pattern making courses. So all of our students take design and pattern making parallel to each other. So that way you not only learn how to sketch out a concept, how to sketch a garment on someone, how to make sure that the fabric falls the way you want it, things like that. But then you also learn how to make the pattern for it and then put that garment together. And all of this with the goal of, at the end in your 3rd year, choosing a specialty, one of our 10 specialties, including women's wear, children's wear, accessories, luxury, haute couture. And each of our 3rd year students design a full collection as their final thesis project, which they present in front of a panel of industry professionals. And that's another great opportunity, as Boompa said, to come into direct contact with industry professionals, make those industry connections, which will then serve you later on as you launch your career. The next program is our Creative Director Postgraduate program. So this is the equivalent to a master's. This is a 2-year program. This is accessible after, as Boompa mentioned before, what a bac +3 is, which is having your high school diploma plus at least 3 years of higher education. And this is a level 7 accreditation. And again, with ECTS credits, it's also recognized not just in France, but in Europe, which is great for finding jobs after graduation. The main goals for this for this master's program, rather than in the undergraduate program, the goal really was to learn how to build, design, and make your own collection from start to finish. This is more getting to manage a team to have your collection made. So there are different skills that come into play. You'll be developing a concept for your brand identity. You'll be simulating the market launch of this brand. You'll be guiding the team, sourcing your manufacturing products, things like that. And you are really the creative director of this project, so you get to have all the say, which is great practice. Next, we have our intensive program. This program is a little bit different from the others, but it goes along with our undergraduate program. This is a one-year program that is accessible to those people that have 1 or 2 years of higher education after your high school degree. And this curriculum takes the first 2 years of our undergraduate curriculum and combines them into 1 year. So that way you can then finish your undergraduate degree in 2 years rather than 3. And again, this is the similar curriculum to our undergraduate program, which is with design and pattern making courses, plus complementary courses, which I didn't mention before, but some of the complementary courses you may have, if you're in the French program, you'd have business English, for example. You have market and consumer analysis, sociology of fashion, fashion history, things like that.
Thank you, Janan. So in the same way that Janan has presented the two programs in Esmod fashion design, we also have the fashion business side. So it's this program is dedicated to students who wanted to study fashion, but not necessarily in the fashion design, because you wanted to involve in the fashion industry, but maybe mostly for all the marketing, for the business positions. So a 3-year program is held also in Esmod fashion business in French or in English. And this program is accessible with a high school diploma, so the bac that we told before, that we told earlier. And this program is also validated with a diploma, which is an equivalent of a bachelor's degree. So what you're going to learn during this program is to acquire all the knowledges and tools in order to work in fashion industry, but for different business units such as marketing, communication, merchandising, production, buying. So you are going to learn, of course, a part of all the subjects which is really dedicated to the fashion industry, such as fashion, sociology of fashion, history of fashion, textiles, how to understand actually the designers, but also to give you all the keys and fundamentals of the business. The creative management, the economic and legal context where you can learn accounting, law, sales, and of course the career development for your employability. We also have the second program, which is the 2-year program after a bac +3, so A-level plus 3 years of higher education, which is actually a program which is an equivalent of the master's degree. So the difference between the previous program is that this program will help the students to further their knowledges in business management in Esmod fashion business. And what is really interesting during that program is that the students of the fashion business are going to work with the students of the 3rd year of fashion design, where they are going to work together in a team for the launching of the collection of the designer. And at the end of the year, they are going to present this program in front of professionals.
So the other program that we have, which is a little bit shorter in duration, is our summer courses. These happen during the month of July. This past year, things were a little bit different because of COVID. We did them all online. Normally they're in person in Paris. So this year with COVID, we're not sure if they'll be online or in person, but either way, it's a great program where you can learn about design, pattern making, or fashion business. And you can also do a combination. You can do design and pattern making or design and fashion business if you want to test multiple out at once. And these courses are introductory courses. They're a good way for you to learn the basics, to get just a broad overview of these subjects, maybe test them out to see if they're really something you want to do for your future, or maybe if you're having trouble deciding between fashion design and fashion business, this would be a good way to test both out and see which one is better for you. So those are our summer courses. And this is some of our alumni. Maybe Bumpa, do you want to talk a little bit about the career paths and
Yeah, well, we can, I mean, for both programs, what we can underline also during your studies in Esmod, for Esmod fashion design or Esmod fashion business is, of course, the work experience that you can gain during your studies, because, of course, you will have the possibility to study fashion, but also to get experience through your internships. You should know that the school proposes to students in fashion design to gain experience in a company for 3 months to 6 month 6 month duration. And during your 3 years, I mean, during your 5 years, if you choose to do the bachelor's degree and the master's degree, as well as in the fashion business, you have this possibility. And this you have this possibility to do your internship, since internships are mandatory from the first year for the fashion business course. If you want to gain experience in company, you have to do an internship of 3 months in the second year for the fashion design. I'm sorry, for the fashion design course, we have the possibility to do internship from, I think it's 5 weeks during the second year of fashion design and 3 months to 6 months for your final year in fashion design. For the fashion business side, you have a mandatory internship of 3 months during the first year in sales, and then a second internship during your second year of 3 months. And for your final year, you have an internship of 6 months to validate your diploma. I wanted also to mention that I've forgotten to tell previously that in order to validate your diploma at the end of your 3 years course in fashion business, you also have to write a thesis which consists actually to develop a diversification for an existing brand that you are going to present in front of professionals during a juries. So regarding our alumni, we try to find current alumni, Japanese alumni who did their studies in Esmod, Paris or Japan, because some of them also did the exchange programs that we told earlier. So this is actually a panel of a few alumni, Japanese alumni that are now working in the fashion industry.
So as you can see, there's lots of different things that they're doing. Some people opened their own brand. Some people are working for other big brands. Some people are working in the United States, in Japan, in France. So there are many opportunities for our students, especially if you're coming internationally. If you want to then stay in France to work, go back to your own country to work, go to find a different country to work in. There are plenty of options. And that's one of the great advantages you have as a student with Esmod. So now I'm sure the last question that you have in your head is, how can I apply? So our application is very easy. There are 4 steps. The first is you'll create a My Esmod account. This is our online application platform. So you'll create your own account and then you can apply. So you just have to select the campus, so Paris or Pantin, and the program that you'd like to apply for, either fashion design or fashion business, undergraduate or master's. And then the third step is the evaluation. So you'll send us all of the required documents that we ask for, which includes your resume or CV, a cover letter, a photocopy of your passport, your transcripts, your grades, and your diploma. And then you'll get a creative dossier assignment that we will send to you and we will ask you to complete. This is in lieu of a formal portfolio. Since everyone is welcome to apply, we don't have any prerequisites in design or pattern making on the design side. There are not really any business prerequisites, so you could have studied anything in high school and you'll start from the ground up at Esmod. So in lieu of a formal portfolio, we ask that you complete this creative dossier assignment. This is really your opportunity to show us what you do, show us your relationship with art, with any kind of art. It doesn't have to be drawing. It can be anything that you do in the arts, whether it be dancing, singing, photography, anything like that. We also want to see what inspires you, what brands you like. We want to see your relation to fashion as well. And it's your opportunity to tell us why you're motivated to come and study at Esmod and study fashion at Esmod, because once you're with us, it's fashion 24/7. So we want to make sure that you're really motivated to study fashion with us. And then the third step of the evaluation is an interview with a professor. So whether it's on the fashion design side or on the fashion business side, you will get to speak usually over Skype now with COVID. You'll get to speak with a professor, talk more about yourself, more about why you would make a great student at Esmod. Again, about your inspirations, about your relationship to art, your artistic universe, if you will. And then you'll get your decision and you can enroll and you can finish the enrollment process also completely online, very streamlined, very easy. And that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us in the Q&A section on Zoom. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you all take care of yourselves. This is still a really difficult time, we know that. So we hope that you are all happy, safe, and healthy. And you can stay connected with us on our social media. We have an Instagram account, Facebook, and we also are now on TikTok, which is very exciting. So you can check out our social medias. We also have several blogs. If you're interested in learning more about some of our alums, you can look at Planet Esmod. Esmod Fashion Business has a blog dedicated to it if you want to learn more about what our Esmod Fashion Business students are doing. And Esmod Act is our blog dedicated to responsible fashion. If you're interested in about sustainability, things like that, there are plenty of great articles written by professors, students alike. So check those out. And thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for us? Feel free, we won't bite.
And of course, if you're still hesitated with between fashion design or fashion business school, stay tuned on our different events that I think we are going to do digitally. So stay tuned on all our open days, digital online, or different kind of events, that webinars that we can organize during that time.
Absolutely. And also in the chat, I forgot to mention this at the very beginning, but in the chat, we have a bunch of different links that you can click on, you can use directly. We have the phone numbers, contact information, the ats to our social medias directly there, so you can copy and paste if you want. It's easier. How is getting a visa? So we are very fortunate to be a Campus France school, which means that you will get help from Campus France to get your visa. And normally they're pros, obviously. And even right now, students are guaranteed that they, as long as you have all the right paperwork and everything, that you'll get a visa to come study in France. COVID, the French president declared that COVID will not affect that. Thank you for that question. Does anyone else have any other questions? In the fashion design course, how are people graded? Are there any fashion shows so that students can show their work? So there are several different ways that students are evaluated on the fashion design side. There are different projects throughout the year, and with each project that gets a formal grade, there's usually a presentation in front of a jury. So Bumpa and I both mentioned that in the third year and in the master's program, people present either their collections or their final thesis projects in front of a jury of industry professionals. But before your third year, you have several practices for that, which are different ways to grade your different projects. And so those are done in front of internal juries, in front of professors, in front of people on the the curriculum committee. So that's largely how people are graded on the fashion design side. And at the end of each year, this year was a little bit different again because of COVID. It wasn't at the end of the year, it was at the beginning of the year. It was actually just in October that we have a big fashion show where we get to show off not only the students in the third year, their final collections, but also students in the first and second year get their stuff shown also in a fashion show. And then we also, as Mumpa mentioned, we have open campus days, and throughout the year, there are student works that are presented when it's in person, not digital, of course. So there are student works presented. Also, as Mumpa mentioned, with our partnerships at the trade shows, students' works get shown there as well. So there are plenty of opportunities for your work to be shown as a student. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Bumpa, how does grading go on the fashion business side?
So in the fashion business side, all the students are evaluated through exams and final exams. And at the end of the 3-year course, so as I mentioned earlier, they have to write a thesis about the subject is about the development of a second line or a new concept for an existing brand. And this project that we have to present in front of professionals, in front of professional juries at the end, where the jury are going to evaluate the feasibility of this project, and also the creativity and the analysis of this project. So the students validated at the end through this board, mainly 50% with this final project and 50% with the grade that they acquired during their studies. In terms of validation also, so as I mentioned earlier, students also need to do internships in order to gain experiences. So in order to validate each year, they have to complete their internship plus the final exams each year in order to go to the superior class.
I believe that's the same on the fashion design side. In order to go on to the next year, your work will be evaluated, the designs that you make, and also you'll have to complete your internship after your first year. The internship is not mandatory, but in second year and in third year it is. Are there any other questions? Any last minute, any questions? And of course, you can feel free to email us. I believe the email is in the chat. If you want to email us directly with your questions, you can feel free to do that as well. If you want to ask us privately, and you can also feel free to email us about any, if you are interested in applying and you'd like to do an immersion in a class, because our classes are currently online, we can offer a digital immersion in one of our classes, so you can see firsthand how our classes are and interact with students and professors via Teams. How is the diversity like at Esmod, nationality-wise and age-wise? So as Bumpa mentioned, we have an incredibly diverse student body. We have, do you know the exact number of nationalities represented this year?
Yeah, this year, maybe between 50 and 60 nationalities for all the business, for all the Esmod group.
Mm-hmm. We normally have at least 50% of our student body that are international students. So it's an incredibly diverse student body, which is really great. It makes for a great mix of collections and ideas and styles. And age-wise as well, because as I mentioned, with the intensive program on the fashion design side, and of course with the two postgraduate programs, there's definitely a range in ages. The intensive program especially, because it is open to people that have already done some years of higher education. It's normally a program where people are in a professional reconversion, and so they're a little bit older maybe than the typical student, and so that creates a lot of diversity age-wise as well. And in terms of the average tuition for a year, on the fashion design side, it's around 12,000 and change for you, I think like 12,300 euros for the year. And the fashion business side is about 11,000 and change per year. I'm not sure. Bumpa, do you know the exact tuition fee?
I think it's fashion design, also for all the materials that we add.
Yes, that does include the price I just mentioned. They include your textbooks, your ebooks, and some of the materials that you'll need, notably on the fashion design side, the mannequin bust that you'll get to take home and use at home and things like that. So thank you for that question. Are there any other questions? As I mentioned, the fashion show, because of COVID this year and everything, we weren't able to have a live audience in person for the fashion show, which benefits you since we were able to live stream it. So you can watch the fashion show on YouTube and see all of the different collections. This year, the fashion show was split into 3 as opposed to just 1, which is what we normally do. So you can see the fashion shows, they're broken down by specialization. The first one was menswear, women's wear, children's wear, and accessories. The second one was knitwear, unisex, and lingerie. And the third one was luxury couture, haute couture, costume design, and the 4th year graduate students presented their collections and the third one as well. So feel free to check that out, see some of the student works. It was really great. And you'll also get to see the fashion business building because we used that as our stage for the fashion show. Any other questions from anyone? Anything anyone wants to know? We are here to answer them if you do. Can students in fashion design course have any opportunities or courses to learn about fashion business side as well? Thank you for that question. That's a great question. So yes, as I mentioned, in the fashion design side, we have those complementary courses, one of which is a fashion business oriented course, which is consumer and market analysis. The other way right now that students have a direct link to the fashion business side is through the team building program that Bumpa mentioned, where there's a fashion business student that gets paired with a fashion design student. So that way the fashion business student can create the business plan for the fashion design students' creations. And we are currently also in the process of creating more and more common curriculum points, so that way fashion design students can learn more fashion business and fashion business students can learn more about the fashion design side. So thank you for that question. Any other questions before Bumpa and I say au revoir?
And maybe to complete If you need to add business skills, you have the possibility also to continue after your Esmod with the 2-year program in fashion business in order to have like the double competencies actually, and to also be business oriented through the program in fashion business.
Absolutely. That's a great way to get both. All right, well, if there are no other questions, thank you again so much for listening to us. We hope we were able to answer any questions and tell you more about Esmod. And again, if you have any other questions, you can feel free to email us directly to set up an individual appointment if you want with us, or to get an immersion in a class. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Au revoir.
Bye bye. Au revoir.
Bye bye. Au revoir.